Our God has ordained it. And because this is the day that the Lord has made it, we will rejoice and we will be glad in it. So I hope everybody's enjoying themselves. We are here. It's a little rainy over here in the DMV, but we still are having a wonderful time. Because when the rain comes down, what do we say? The blessings come. Well, the blessings go up. Is that what it says? When the rain comes down, yeah, the blessings go up. When the blessings go up, the rain, and never mind. When the rain comes down, the blessings go up. But anyway, it's all about the blessings. And I hope you're enjoying your empowered day this day, because you are empowered value in the earth, one individual at a time. Everywhere you go, make sure you lift up somebody. Make sure you get someone to the height that God has created them to be. And don't ever forget that, because that's why we're here. If we're not doing that, then there's a problem. There's a problem, and God will have to correct it. But we are here to bring God glory and to lift people up. Don't forget to get your sword fresh. Scan the QR code right here. Go to our website, favorofthegreatgod.com. Go to our Fava a la carte, and you will be able to purchase your own. We have different sizes. We have them in a case. You could do that. And what we say is we hydrate while we liberate. So we're liberating people every time we hydrate with our wonderful drink. And we're coming out there somewhere near you. Yeah, just know that. But while in the meantime, go ahead and get your Soar Fresh. Stay fresh, stay sore. Also, Fava, our QR code right here for Fava Reach, which is our nonprofit where we donate to liberate. We are liberating human traffic victims, one victim at a time. We're not just liberating them from whatever they're caught up in, whatever trafficking situation they're caught up in, but we want to liberate them in their spirit, their mind, their soul, their body, liberate the whole man. So when they come out of that thing, they will knock the devil out, because they'll be the success that God has created them to be. And they'll be able to lift up other people as well. So that is our aim, and that is our desire. So every dime you get will be put towards that. If you go to our Fava Market, everything we sell on there, every bit of merch that sells on there, there's a portion that goes towards liberating our human traffic victims, and everything with the logo Fava Reach, everything goes towards liberating our human traffic victims, because we think it's that important. There is no reason for slavery to be going on in this earth, not after what we went through for 400 years in the past, and even before that. There's no reason for it. So we want to help people who can't help themselves, so that they can get to the place that God wants them to be. So don't forget to do that. FF26 coming up September 10th, 12th, and 13th. You can tell there's a lot going on over here. September 10th, 12th, and 13th. Go to our website. Go to our Fava Festival page. We have a little link, a little section on our homepage where you can click on there and go straight to the Fava Festival page and make your purchase and register, because we're doing something every Fava Festival. We're doing something amazing. But this year, we're putting the boots to the metal. Metal to the boots. I have all these things to them, not saying the right way, but God help me. Anyway, we're putting our hands to the metal to get them done, and it's our Founders Edition. So we're calling on our founders and our entrepreneurs, our artists, our leaders, anyone who wants to partner with us to get some things done. We started the framework, and we're going to build on that so we can create what we call restoration economy for our people who are caught up. When they get out of it, we want them to get to a place where they can now survive and thrive, not just survive, but thrive, and become CEOs and become leaders and become entrepreneurs and become even governmental officials. We want them to leave being, and we want to support them into being their best selves in the earth. So that's what we do as warriors. We fight for them so they can fight for others. That's what we do. Empowered value warriors all over the place. So that's what we're going to do this year. And we're doing it, and we're luxuriating while we liberate. Okay, so that's what we do. Everything we do, yeah, it may be fancy, but it has a back end meaning to liberate people. If it doesn't do that, then we're not going to get in it, because we're not about breaking down. We're about building up every single person we come in contact with everywhere we go, because that's why God created us on the earth on purpose, and we're living out loud. So don't forget to join us. Go up there, go and not scan the QR code. Go to our website, join us, get some friends, and it's limited this year. So get some friends and tell them we're doing something good, and they can come. We're trying to get some artists, and we're going to get out some speakers, and we want to help us come together so we can get this done. It's not just going to be like a conference typical. It's going to be coming together and getting some work done. When we leave there, we want to have some outcomes. We want to have some way where we can reach people and we can tangibly touch them and help them get liberated into everything God has for them. There's no reason for what's going on, and I don't know why it is, but there, except for greed, and it's always about the greediness. But like I always say, greediness is a sin. But if we get ourselves together and stop thinking about, and money is a wonderful thing. That's why I said you put your money. We're investing every time we come here. We're making our money. We're building wealth, generational wealth. It's not just it's for our family, but it's also to do some good, to help somebody else come up. So every dime you make should have a purpose to it, should be aligned to purpose, should be aligned to greatness, should be aligned to empowering value. And when you do that, your money will never go yeah, I want to say it because that's not how it's. It'll never go into fraud. It'll never go into craziness that's all over the world. It will never go to anything bad because you have a purpose for good aligned to every dime that you make, to build your family, to build generational wealth. So when you have that focus, you can't get into crazy. More if you get in touch with God and align up with God's purpose for you, you will never get into crazy. So I tell people, if you get your purpose in check, I don't care how much money you make, you ain't going to be crazy, because that money has a purpose that God has aligned it to. And when you think like that, things you get won't own you. You will own things. They are just tools that God has given us to do everything he's called us to. That's all it is. It's money, a form of exchange. So we could help others, so we could do what God created us to do. When you see it like that, it can't take you into crazy places. And you have to have that purpose in your mind. It's always to build up. It's always to help. It's always to establish God's covenant in the earth and advance his kingdom. When we have that in mind, money will not run you. You will run money. And that's what we got to have, that mindset. So then God can bless you. Because if God can trust you with a little, he ain't going to trust you with a lot, because you're going to be a hot mess all over the place. So we have to be very, very on purpose with what we're doing and everything we're doing to make sure that people's lives are changed for the better and not the worse. So that's what it's all about. So join us. FF26 is going to be it's going to be in Greece, and it's going to be a little. And now we saw that thing. When I saw that thing in Spain yesterday, I had my little yes, a little angst. One person said a little pause. I started by, wait a minute now. It's just going to be one day we're going to be there. But still, I'm like, well, what is this? Did you all see that mess? I'm telling you, if you don't trust God, and I'm telling you, I heard everybody talk about the whole thing. I'm not, and I try not to get into politics too much on here, but I have values I stand for and beliefs, and that's what drives what I do and who I support and whatever. And even when I support them, I don't support them all the way, because God is king to me. So I still have to make sure they measure up to the standard of God. At least whoever comes close enough will, get my vote. But when people tell you about the border thing, and I said, common sense. That's all I got to say. Because if you don't have borders, you're going to have that. And not just that, more of that. I saw people come up from the water. When I saw it, I was like, this has got to be AI. This cannot be real. The people look like ants. I keep telling everybody. When I saw it at first on the internet, I was like, what is this? People coming out of the water like ants. They said there was over 60,000 people that were pouring into Spain from Morocco. And it's a little, I think they were explaining how that little Ceuta it's part of Spain, but it's still part of Morocco. It's very, very close. It's like they said about 16 miles between Morocco and Spain, but it's still a long situation. These people were not just on boats, they were swimming. I saw this man with 5 children. One was a baby, and everybody had a flotation device on, and they had their little wetsuits, and they were in the water. He had all of them. They came out alive now, guys. They came out alive. That means they're doing some good swimming. But I'm like, who would do that? I mean, I know you want a better life, but that is crazy. And they came out like swarms of bees and ants. I have never seen so many people come out of anything in my life. The only thing reminded me of is whenever you watch those old movies about the Vikings and way back in the day when the British and the Spanish and all these people were fighting each other, and they used to come. They had ships. They didn't have planes. They had these big ships they would row. That's what the Norway people remind me of. When if you watch a World Cup and they were rowing, that's what they are. That's where the Vikings come from. These areas, and they would come out. They would have the ships on the water, and then they would just come quietly, and then they would just charge the beaches. the army would just charge the beaches from the water and go up to them down and start fighting. That's what that reminded me of. I was like, that is crazy. And then most of them had to go back because they realized they didn't have any place to live. They had no jobs, no money. They didn't know what to do. They didn't have a plan. I don't know who told them to just come. They want a better life. But I mean, even if you want a job, they have to interview you. You have to sit somewhere. They have to figure out if you're good for them. So it's not just like immediately they can take you on, unless it's a day job. And even that, people got to vet you. So I'm like, who told you could just come out the street? All of y'all just swarm, and no, they can't even accommodate them. They don't have the capacity, the housing, the money to do anything for them. So some of them stayed and they tried to get to the mainland, but a lot of them had to go back. I think they said about 40,000 plus went back to Morocco because they realized, well, this is not going to work. Whole day, they couldn't eat. They had nothing to eat. They had nothing, nowhere to live, take a shower, nothing. They were just in clothes, walking around like nomads because they didn't have a plan. And I'm like, and I hope, and I think it did because they end up adding some more fortification to their borders. Spain is that it had to open your eyes to the fact that your borders are very weak and vulnerable. Because if regular people could do that, think about an army. And the times we live in, we can't play with that stuff. So I was just, in a way, when I saw it, I just started to pray. I was like, my first instinct was, what in the world is that? Who are these people and where are they coming from like that? Because I knew Morocco, and one guy was saying Morocco is a pretty country, but things are hard. They don't have jobs. They don't have a lot to, and they don't have good teachers and good medicine, but I guess Medicare and stuff like that. So he was saying that, but then I realized, I mean, people go there to these places on vacation, but sometimes the people living there are not going through the best situation because they have to live in it. And usually it's the cost of living is so low. That means because they're not making that much money. So I was like, but the way they left, y'all, we really have to pray for Europe because some of them still, and the other thing, when they got to land, they just mingled with everybody. They just started running. I was like, if I was on the street and I saw that, I would just run for the hills. You hear me? Because they just ran into the streets. So by the time you look, you couldn't figure out who was who because they looked like regular people. And that's how criminals can assimilate into a culture and destroy the culture from within because nobody knows who they are. They have no documentation. Nobody has paperwork on them. They don't know who came in and who left. So they're just there. And some of them said they're going to still try to make it to the mainland, probably get jobs or get a train or something because everywhere, you can take a train all over Europe. So, I mean, and the other countries are mad. Like Italy they put a new thing in place for their immigration policy to make sure that these people don't come in because they can't accommodate them. It's too many at one time. I mean, and if you don't think you need to pray, that's why I tell people the Bible said, discern the times. If you don't think you need to pray, when you see that, then you need to go and have a talk with God because you're not discerning the time. That is a prayer meeting and a half because if they could do that, think of what else they could do. And that's all that came to my mind. So, I mean, we just have to pray for Europe and just pray for everything going on. It's a beautiful area over there. But let me tell you something. The devil always tries to destroy stuff. So we just have to be aware and pray. That was crazy. I have never seen something like that in my life. And I hope I never will. Even the people that come here on the little boats from like near Cuba and these countries, it's not that many at once. It's like a little boat here, a boat there, a boat. You know what I mean? And they showed though when we had the storming of the Mexican border before they put up the wall, it was kind of like that. But the thing is, we had ICE. We had people there monitoring and taking their documentation and their paperwork. Some people still slipped through the cracks, but we had people there. They did not have people. I mean, the police were actually opening the gate for them. I was like, why are you doing that? Do you understand? Do you understand what you're doing right now? Or they couldn't handle it. They just broke through and the police just let them through. One man said the police in Morocco just let them through the border to go, and which they shouldn't have done. So I guess there's an investigation going to take place or whatever. But that was crazy. When I saw that, I was like, Lord, is Spain going to be okay? So I don't know. So just listen for updates. But for now, we're still going to be in Madrid for one day and then go to Greece. But that was crazy. Oh my God. I'm telling you everything. And but one thing that came to mind when I saw that after everything that I was like for a couple of days and I was like, okay. And I thought about it. I'm like, Lord, let your glory flood the earth like that. Let the same way the people were flooding, let your glory flood the earth, flood the nations like that. When we pray and your glory fills our lives, Let it flood the nations like that. Let your people worship. Let your people praise. Let people get saved and delivered, and it look just like that, because that's the only way that's a good thing right there. Because that will do such great damage to the gates of hell, and will lift up nations and lift up people all over the world. So that's the only thing I would like to look like that. God's people flooding the earth, and the glory of God flooding the earth. My God. Anyway, so that was, I think, one of the main things in our current events or world history, whatever that happened to this week. Because this week, that was the headline. I think it still is the headlines. And me, Lord Jesus. Anyway, topic for the day. I hope you check out our blog every Friday at 8 a.m. And this week was the gap between what? Competence and confidence. And isn't that one of the main things we're dealing with in our world today? I hope you check out our blog every Friday. The podcast for that was really good as well. Very informative and very detailed, getting into the nitty gritty of it, you know? So that was good. So hope you listen to that every Friday. Oh my God. Okay. You can go back to listen to it now. It's still there. It stays up. Okay. Okay. The gap between confidence and competence. And the one thing I had to, that I really liked about it is that, because a lot of us go through imposter syndrome. A lot of us go through all these different things and you hear about them. And it's like for me, you have to have a balance between confidence and competence. You have to know what you know, and the knowing that you know what you know builds your confidence. But sometimes, even when you know what you know, there could be a lack of confidence as well, because you're like, will they listen? Do I know enough? Is my delivery the best? All these different things can play. But when you're doing things, you have to have confidence, because even some people are very, very knowledgeable, but the lack of confidence does not make them appeal to people, or they can't speak it or relay what they know. And that's why it's very important for us in the business space, in the academic space, whatever space it is, for us to know who we are, even as Christians, when we're sharing the good news, the gospel with people, we got to do it with confidence, so they will know that this is something good, that we know what we're talking about, that we've experienced God, and we know that He's good for them, and the message is God's truth to them. That way, people are drawn to it because we're saying it with confidence. And a lot of times, there's not a balance between them, and that gap causes a lot of problems. Okay, I'm going through the whole, and you could also read. I mean, we have the podcast, but we also have the visual that you could read as well. And the first sentence of it is: competence is what you can actually do. Confidence is what you believe you can do. Okay, big difference. What you can actually do and what you believe you can do. The gap between them, whether you're underconfident or overconfident, shapes decisions, careers, teams, and organizations. Understanding that gap and managing it intentionally is one of the highest leverage moves a leader, a team member, or an organization can make. So you have to figure out the gap between that. You have to bring it together so that you could get your message forward with confidence and effectively. Oh my God. Okay. Why the gap matters for performance and risk. Underconfidence leaves talent idle. Skilled people hesitate, delay, or decline opportunities, which slows growth and wastes potential. Overconfidence, on the other hand, pushes people into errors, uncalculated risks, and costly blind spots. Then you have another area: development and retention. Employees who are consistently undervalued by their own self assessment stop proposing ideas and accepting stretch roles. Those who overestimate abilities burn out or create friction when outcomes don't match assurance. So you can see both ends of the spectrum, there's going to be a problem. Okay. And the last one they had: trust and credibility. Confidence informs how others perceive you. When confidence aligns with competence, trust grows. When it doesn't, credibility erodes quickly and often irreparably. Okay. So you have to be very careful. It has to balance. They have to be aligned. So you're not over on one end and under the other end. A good, healthy balance is what makes for a good organization, for a good family, for a good country, for everything, business, everything. You have to have a balance of the two. Okay, the gap may exist. They have your cognitive biases, feedback, scarcity or noise, organizational signals, identity, and emotion. All these are different ways why the gap could exist. You don't understand what you're supposed to be doing. You don't understand what the effect is. You're not listening to feedback. So you're not figuring out why there's a gap. Now, how to measure the gap. 360-degree feedback. Compare self ratings with peer, manager, and direct report assessments on specific skills and behavior. You need to welcome feedback, comment sections. Sometimes those can be a little much, and some people stop them because people start getting real negative. But you need some kind of feedback, whether it's from yourself, from your peers, from people you trust, from your customers. That's why you have people have suggestion boxes or comment sections, and that way you can know what's going on, even if it's negative, so you can know what to fix and what to tweak. Okay. Outcome versus forecast variance. Track how individuals predictions compare to actual results over time. So sometimes people want to predict some things, track how they measure up to the actuals. People usually have actuals and estimates. You have to look at those actuals and estimates to make sure that your actuals are coming out good. Okay. And sometimes you need them to be more than your estimates. If they're consistently lower than your estimates, then you need to check that and tweak whatever needs to be tweaked to get that up to par. Competency mapping. Use observable behaviors and task-based assessments to establish competence baselines. Then compare them to willingness to take responsibility and lead. That's also ways that you can monitor your team when they're doing different things, and they're doing, and you give them assessments. See how they accept or are willing to take responsibility. If it doesn't go good, how willing are they to take responsibility and tweak it? If they're not willing to do that, there's a problem. They can't lead effectively, because you have to be able to take, and I wouldn't call it this, constructive criticism and just feedback. I mean, sometimes there's criticism, then there's things that are just meant to help evaluate what you're doing to help you do better. You have to be able to take those, because if you don't, there could be some big problems. Calibration exercises. Ask people to attach confidence levels to predictions or decisions. Then measure calibration, the match between stated confidence and frequency of success. You have to match them. You have to do those evaluations for yourself as well. Okay. But if you have a team, for the team, definitely, especially the more people you get, you want to make sure you have some system in place so you can analyze what's going on, so you can know how to catch a gap, nip it in the bud before it gets too big, before you get too many people, because that's what some people do, and they're not doing the self-analysis or the team analysis or whatever analysis you got to do, and they end up with a big problem, and which should have been caught in the seed stage. Somebody was just saying that, talking about that. Something that should be caught in the seed stage, if you let it grow too much, it's going to be caught in the tree stage, and by that time it'll be you have a whole bunch of damage that you could have avoided. So always do those analyses. Okay, practical ways to close or manage the gap. Seek targeted feedback regularly. Use micro stretch assignments. Build competence incrementally through increasingly challenging tasks with clear success criteria. Confidence grows with repeatable wins. So you start small assignments, so you can help build up their confidence. So as they win in the different assignments, you keep promoting them up higher and higher and higher to more difficult assignments. So you're building up the confidence there because they have repeatable wins. Okay. Practice calibration on forecasts and judgments. State a confidence percentage and record outcomes. Review patterns to adjust self-assessment. Okay, so when you're doing forecasts and judgments, state a confidence percentage and record outcomes. You have to do some recordings. You have to do some assessments of yourself too. You can't just be saying, oh, I'm good. That's why every week we have the action plan. So you can have some things that you do to analyze yourself and see what's going on, and if you're having the success you need, and if not, then what do I need to tweak to get those in a better place? Adopt deliberate reflection. After projects, run short after action reviews. What went well? What surprised you? What skill do you need next? Have to do that. Can't be afraid to see what's going on. And that's why we have, even at the end of the year, when we have the advent calendar, part of that we always put to assess yourself, what you did. Did you achieve your goals? What do you need to do better for the new year coming up? All these are little ways of us checking on ourselves. About the what? Not the Bible. The rapper says, "Check yourself before you wreck yourself." Okay, that's it right there. Simple and to the point, and it's very important. The Bible said, "He that judgeth himself is judged of no one." Because you're checking yourself and you're doing the work on yourself. You're changing what needs to be changed so that you can get to a better place. Okay, because nobody is perfect. Only God. Some people like to tell them that I don't care what you think. You're not perfect. Get to God, check yourself, and see how you can get better. It's always about, if the life, once you're living, you have to get better. You have to grow. There's nothing like I've arrived. Oh no, the moment you think that is the moment you're going down. Life is meant to be to live and grow, to get better and better until our assignment here is done and God calls us home. Okay? Next, develop a growth identity. Frame capability as improvable. Commit publicly to experiments, not perfection. Commit publicly to experiments, not perfection. So when you're doing different things and you're setting them up, make it sound like more like an experiment as opposed to you being perfect. When you do it like that, then you can accept whatever comes out of it, whatever the outcome is, and you're not defensive against it. So you're like, well, I can. Oh no, it's a no. See what it is. It's an experiment until we see where we have to tweak, what's good, and we can keep going and keep increasing our levels of excellence. Okay. For items for teams and leaders, normalize transparent feedback cycles, reward accurate forecasting, context, reward accurate forecasting and learning, not just results. Provide clear competency frameworks, define what good looks like at each level so people can reliably compare themselves to external standards. Match challenges to demonstrated competence plus a bit of a stretch. Avoid promoting solely for charisma or presentation polish. Okay? Coach calibration, not just skill. Teach people how to qualify confidence when making recommendations. State assumptions, indicate uncertainty, and suggest contingencies. Okay, so we have to do those things. That's for teams and leaders. For organizations, design hiring and promotion practices to test realistic, repeatable behaviors rather than impressions or charisma. Repeatable behaviors, you have to look for those and be able to test those. Create safe circuits for experimentation. Psychological safety reduces the pressure to fake confidence and encourages truthful reporting on competence gaps. Track and report calibration across functions. Aggregate data on prediction accuracy and feedback alignment to detect systemic over or under confidence risks. Make sure you put things in place, data, whatever it is you have to put in place so you can detect when people are overconfident or underconfident. You want to make sure you get the right balance. So when you detect it, you know you have things in place so you can attack that and bring everything in alignment so you have a well balanced situation, not over or under. Okay. So you have to have those in place. Embed learning systems. Invest in mentoring, role rotation, and structured practice so competence can catch up to or temper confidence. Okay. You have to have learning, invest in mentoring, role rotations, structured practice so competence can catch up to or temper confidence. So you have to learn